Well, welcome back everyone to another episode of the GrandValli Experience. I'm your host, Selena, and today my guest is my friend Carson, who is the owner of Alchemy Training. So how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thankful to be here. Yeah.
Are you excited?
Yeah.
Are you a little nervous?
Yeah.
I'm always nervous. So I'm grateful for you to be here. I think through this process, we've really enjoyed being able to tell everybody's stories, so I'm excited to tell yours. So right off the bat, if you can just give us a little brief thing about you, what do you do, and why Alchemy Training?
Yeah. Whoa. So I started the business when I was a full-time strength conditioning coach at CMU, Colorado Mesa University, and how it came about was athletes would graduate and then they'd ask me for training. And so I was like, oh, well, I could start a business based on this need where athletes, they're done with their career, training has been given to them their whole year, their whole life.
Right.
High school, college, everything. They know how to train, so all they need is like a program. So I can make them like an affordable workout program, charge them like $5, and that was the beginning of Alchemy Training.
Gotcha, okay.
And so that was the idea, and then it's just kind of that it took me like 2 years to actually get something, take the idea and put it into this is what this is gonna be, is a company. And now we still have the $5 subscription. You can sign up, get a generic workout, and that's mostly made for athletes or those that are at least pretty experienced in weightlifting. And then now it's evolved where I've opened it up and I can make a workout program that's personalized for anyone. So anyone, like a stay-at-home mom who doesn't have access to a gym and doesn't have time to go to the gym, or a stay-at-home dad, and then anything from that to a highly trained athlete who has access to a gym, who's just kind of plateaued in their workouts and is looking for a new program. It's just kind of evolved from $5 subscription to now personalized workouts, and we're on a steady kind of growth now. But that's where it started, and that's kind of where we're at right now.
So what's the moment where you were like, okay, this is what I want to do? Because you used to be an athlete yourself. And I'm sure, once you're an athlete, you kind of always want to at least keep some of that momentum, that personality going. But what was it that made you say, okay, this is what I want to get into, this is what I really enjoy, and then build from there?
Yeah, I think exercise, I think, that's tough for me to answer. So getting into being a trainer, I should say, being a strength coach. I was actually going to school, I was studying history, so I have a bachelor's in history. I was gonna be a history teacher and a high school basketball coach. That's what I wanted to do.
Right, that was a sweet spot for you.
Yeah. And then I had 2 knee injuries when I was a college athlete. And so during that time, a lot of PT, and I kind of want to understand, why did this happen? How does the body work? What the heck? How did I get these injuries?
Right.
And so I started taking these exercise science classes because I was just kind of curious and wanted to learn more.
Just outside of what you were studying?
Yeah, And then I ended up getting an associate's in that, exercise science, and getting my CSCS, which is a certification you need to be a strength coach. And then a job opened up at CMU, and I wanted to stay there. I really enjoy being there. I enjoy the athletic, being in athletics, and wanted to train athletes. And I was I could help people hopefully prevent injury, and then help them fulfill their goals. And so kind of during that time, I was okay, what is my purpose? What am I doing?
Right. The question everybody always asks themselves.
Especially in your early 20s. What is life? I don't know what I'm doing. Still there, maybe.
I think we all are a little bit. We're all just we'll figure this out one day.
Maybe. So, and then I realized that, I just want to empower people. I find fulfillment empowering people to achieve their goals or fulfill their goals or their dreams. So with athletes, that's really easy. And as a strength coach, it's, I feel like I'm helping them reach their goals.
Do you feel for fitness, like you say, you want to empower people to achieve their goals. Do you find that fitness tends to be one of the, I guess, easier ways to kind of see that growth? And if so, like, how do you kind of like take that mentality or that kind of setting and apply it to situations where it's not as tangible?
I think, see if I answer this, what you're asking. But I think fitness is a good foundation. It's a good tool for me because I feel comfortable in that space and it helps me fulfill that kind of purpose. But then I think fitness is a good foundation for most people. Like if you have your health and you have your fitness,
right,
and like you're able to be disciplined in one area of your life, which is like health and fitness and exercise and nutrition, then you'll be able to be disciplined in other areas of your life, with like your career or your relationships. So I think it carries over like the principles of fitness and the kind of like just doing something every day for yourself and for your health is really empowering for people. And so if I can support them in doing that, whether it be daily or like 4 times a week you're exercising or 2 times a week, then I feel like I'm empowering them to empower themselves. And then that will carry over into the other aspects of their life as well. Just feeling confident and healthy and comfortable in their body.
No, I can see that for sure, because I think, you know, if you can, I think the good thing about fitness though is like as I said, it's one of the things that's a bit more tangible. Like if you couldn't lift up a 5-pound dumbbell, but then now you can lift up a 10, like you've known you made progress. And I think if you can see that, then it's easier, I guess, to, in a way, like see the way you grow in other aspects as well. So I think what you do in that regard is actually pretty important. So what is it about you that other people may not know or see outside of work that kind of impacts who you are at work? Or at least what impacts like how you coach, why you enjoy what you do? Like what is it kind of about you that maybe people may not be able to, like, aren't always privy to?
I think kind of vulnerably. I experience a lot of like self-doubt. Like, am I helping people? Am I doing enough? Is this useful? Like, and I think it's like important for people to know that, because like you see like successful, like I see like Kobe Bryant or Caitlin Clark, these like big athletes, and you think that they don't ever experience self-doubt. Like in my head, I'm like, oh, they don't doubt. Like every time they shoot it, they know it's going in. But they're human too, and I'm sure that they experience doubt. Like maybe not like when they're taking the shot because they've practiced so much, but like before the game, like, oh, like, do I have what it takes to do this? Or am I being the best that I can be for my team? So where that carries over is, I think, overcompensating for that. And so I just like work as hard as I possibly can to overcome kind of that doubt that I might feel. So I want to just make sure that I'm giving 100% to what I'm doing. And if I'm not, then it's, then I'm not super satisfied.
That's fair. Do you find that vulnerability, I guess, how do you find that kind of impacts like those that you are working with? Like, do you find that there's a certain level of trust or just kind of just respect that is built through just kind of having that vulnerability? I know that you said it kind of pushes you to, you know, really do the best that you can. So kind of just walk me through how that like impacts you, your business, and those that you interact with.
Yeah, I think vulnerability is essential to building trust, and to like leading people or working with people. It's just like human to express like, yeah, this is hard for me, and so I know you're going, like, this training is hard for you, and that's okay. Like, it's okay to say this is hard, but we're gonna keep going, because that's life. Like, and to say like, yeah, it was hard for me to show up for this 6 a.m. workout too, guys, but here we are. And
that's
like,
fair.
we got it. We're already here. So let's have energy and let's make the most out of it. And just being like, yeah, it's hard, but what are we gonna do about it now?
Yeah, you're already
kind
here.
Of, so yeah, yeah. So like being like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Fitness, I think, and we've had conversations about fitness for sure. It's just one of those things that I feel you can look at it individual, like yes, it's you, your personal life, your fitness, but there's always something comforting knowing that like there's somebody in the struggle with you, which I think why group classes are sometimes some of the best too, because then you can at least see that like we all hate our lives right now, but we're in it together.
Yeah.
What is it about kind of just fitness on a whole that really kind of just like wakes you up in the morning, or like what is it about you do, like what is it that kind of speaks to your soul that gets you up and you're like, yeah, we're just gonna make the most of the day, we're gonna train, we're gonna do all this stuff, we're gonna lift some heavy weights and like put your body through like this intense stuff?
Yeah. For me, like I guess you can look at it as like you can amplify the suffering, right? And be like, oh, this is like, I cannot get out of bed. It's so cold outside of my covers.
Yeah.
Like, no way am I getting up to work out this morning. And you can amplify that in your head, or you can choose to amplify, like, afterwards I'm gonna feel good. Like, I'm gonna feel like I did this for myself. I'm gonna feel accomplished, and I'm gonna feel successful, and I'm gonna have this like endorphin rush, you know, where it's like, oh, okay, I feel good. And it takes a while to get to that. So if you're like a beginner in fitness, it's gonna suck for a while. Like, it's like, or if you've taken a long sabbatical from fitness, it's like, you're not gonna feel the high of like, oh wow, like my joints feel good now. Like, or wow, I feel amazing. Like I did a hard workout. No, it's just gonna be suffering for quite a while. You're gonna be like, no, I don't ever feel that way after I work out. But eventually you will feel like, wow, this feels amazing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to equate it to like something else that like might be more relatable, where at first it really sucks. Maybe like a new job. So you start a new job, you don't know anyone there, you're not super invested in it. Yeah. It's like you maybe feel inadequate, you don't know all the skills.
If it's even the right decision.
Yeah. And there's a lot of doubt, and it's not super fun, and you're like in a new space, and for the first 3 months, it's just really uncomfortable kind of. But then you like start to make connections with your coworkers, you're starting to see some results of like all the hard work you're doing, and eventually you're like, oh yeah, like this job is pretty fun, like I'm invested now, and like I'm seeing like results from this. So same thing, like exercise is, for me, it's like I see the results, I feel good. It just sets my day. Like if I get up and do something challenging, it just helps me feel empowered to like be the best that I can be. And I want to be the best that I can be so I can help other people do that too. So.
And I think part of it too is like, it's one of those things, at least I'm learning now, is you kind of just have to do it. Like it's almost like you just have to work through the pain or work through the doubt or anything like that.
Yeah.
And going back to doubt, you mentioned that kind of before. Through this whole process for you, what have you found to kind of be one of the challenges that you've had to face, or one of the hardest lessons you've kind of learned to kind of get to where you are, and kind of like something that you keep coming back to remind yourself, especially in those moments of doubt, or like those moments when you're just like questioning? Because I'm sure you question. I don't think anybody really pursues something and never questions like, is this even worth it? What has been kind of that lesson that kind of sticks with you so far?
So one that really sticks out is there's this image of this guy, and it's like a cartoon image, and he has a pickaxe, and he's mining, he or she, whatever, it doesn't matter, mining for like gold. And been mining like for ages, just trying to get to like where he's trying to get. And then they give up. And you can see zoomed out on this image that they were one strike away from hitting the gold.
Oh, yeah.
And so for me, it's like, okay, I look back in my life and I'm like, where are some areas where maybe it just would have taken like one more, and I would have seen the results. And then I try to take that lesson and apply it now. Like, okay, like when you want to give up most, for me, it's like, that's when the universe is just giving you that last test of like, okay, like do you actually want this?
Yeah.
And is this something that you're really going for? And so I just keep that image in my head of like, this could be one more. This could be the rep that is one more that gets me to kind of that breakthrough success.
Yeah.
Or, so that's something that I just, keep with me of like, okay, when the resistance is big and when you feel like giving up, that's the push. That's the push time. Because that could be the rep that gets you to where you want to be.
That's such a good thing to think about, because I think, you know, in today's age, like everything appears to be so instant that when you don't get that immediate kind of gratification, or you don't see that instant reward or outcome that you're looking for, you start to question. You're just like, well, wait a minute, where is this? But that's a good way to think about it, is like, you know, it really only takes that one more thing, like that one more rep, or that one more, you know, customer, or that one more like high. Like it's just this mentality that like I think anything, and I've learned this through rugby too, is like, if you break it down to the most like smallest thing, like you can go that one more minute, or you can go that one more rep, or you can go that one more thing. And so that can really be the difference. And I'm glad you brought that up, because in myself, and I'm sure for those listening, I think everybody can think of that one moment where you're like, man, if I didn't do that one more thing, I wouldn't be where I am right now. If I didn't do this, then this wouldn't have happened. Or there's this one thing in my life right now where I'm like, man, maybe I should just like walk away. Maybe this isn't it. But then you're like, okay, let me just give it one more go, or let me give it one more chance. And of course, do it educatedly. Like obviously, if it's not happening or you know, crumbling, then maybe not. But like
with a plan and a strategy.
With a plan, like with some logic in there. But no, I think that's really great and impactful. Based on that, like, do you find that through kind of what you do now, that kind of principle has carried you through a lot of other parts of life? And then with those closest in your circle, do you find that kind of mentality also kind of helps them as well in those situations of personal doubt?
Yeah, I think like it's a principle learned through sport. Like one more rep could be the rep that makes, like in practice, could be the rep that makes a difference when you're in competition or whatever. And so that carries over to, like running the business and being like, okay, one more marketing video, or one more reaching out to somebody, or whatever it looks like. And then that could carry over to, I think that could definitely carry over to other aspects as well, like relationship or school, or just anything that you're pursuing. It's just kind of a universal principle. Outside of that, like in my friendship circle, depends on the circle that I'm in. But I actually got that concept and from one of my good friends, like just having a conversation about, and he's like, have you seen this image? And that was when I was in college, and that was a while ago. And we're still in a friend circle. And so, like that's just something that we talk about and think about when we're kind of working towards some of our goals as like friends and individuals. And so.
How do you feel like you've changed over time, like starting this process, getting into fitness? Like what are the key moments or just differences that you've noticed in yourself from like, say, 5 years ago, 10 years ago to like where you are now?
I think I feel a little more comfortable, like a little more confident in my skill set. And I think I've learned to recognize, I started thinking like, to me it was like, wow, how are people paying for exercise programs? Like, because this is common sense to me, like, or it's like watch a YouTube video, you know what I mean? but then I pay someone to do my taxes. You know what
I
mean?
And
like, so I will always pay someone to do my taxes. I don't want to do anything with it. I don't want to learn how to do it. I'm sure I could learn on YouTube. It would take me like 30 minutes or an hour. I don't want to do it. Like, I just want to hire someone to do it. I hate paperwork, you know? And so I'm like, oh, it's the same thing. Like, they don't want to take the time to learn all the components of like building an exercise program and knowing if they're doing it right or whatever. So they'll just pay me to do it. And so I've kind of learned that like my skills have value. And it's okay to like give a value to those skills. Because some people have that need and you're helping them. And so it's okay to charge for that.
Gotcha,
And so that's where I've seen a lot of growth. And then being like confident in like what I'm giving them is helping them. Yeah.
I think you brought up a good point. You know, you don't want to do taxes. I'm not a big technology person, hence why I'm on this side of the camera and not on the other side. And so I think you just brought up a great point in recognizing that it's okay to like everybody has value pretty much. You just have to kind of find the way that like naturally works for you. And then it's okay to say like, hey, this is valuable. Because do I know how to do a fitness plan? No. I'm sure I could watch YouTube, but would I rather do something else? Of course. So it's like, you know, you just kind of have to find that thing that like you would rather do that other people wouldn't. And I think, you know, you bring in the fact that like finding that value, earning that confidence, and then just doing it is pretty impactful for sure. What's been like your favorite or highlights of your experience so far? Like I'm sure you've had moments where you're like either you're working with someone and they just like blew themselves out of the water pretty much, where they were so impressed with how far they got. Like what has been those moments for you so far? Anything where there's like substantial growth for a client or an athlete is super fun for me. I remember when one of like the female, we're good friends now, but Lily Borgenheimer won NCAAs in the 200 breaststroke. And she was the first female athlete to win an individual national championship at CMU, and but we were really close. And I remember just watching her win it. I was in Barnes and Noble, and I had it like pulled up on my phone. I was like, oh, she's about to race, so I pulled it up. And I remember like when people win championships, like I'll watch the Super Bowl and I'll be like crying, and I have no vested interest in anyone who's playing in the Super Bowl. Like I don't follow it, I don't care that much. But like when people win championships, just like I understand how much work and like sacrifice is made to make that happen. And it's just like overwhelming for me. Like I'm just like, like the streamers are falling. And so I'm watching her like win this championship, and I'm just like crying in Barnes and Noble. Like, I'm so happy for her, I'm so proud of her, because I just know like what she went through to do that. And so so that's a big moment. And then working recently with a client who like one of her goals was to run again. She used to run like half marathons and everything. And then she got some bad like IT syndrome. It hurt her knee to run. And so she couldn't even run like short distances without experiencing pain. So we worked together for like 3 months, and I was like, I think you should try running a mile. Like just give it a try. Only a mile, don't go crazy. And she did, and it was pain-free, and it was like, wow, okay. Like I feel like it helped that person reach their goal and feel good in their body. So What does success look like or what did it look like for you in the past? And then how does that measure to what it looks like for you now?
I think it used to be primarily based on achievement. And like, did you reach what you were trying to reach? And that's still part of my definition of success, I think. But it's become less of like, I've become more invested in the process, I would say, and more finding joy and reward in the process. So,
what is it about the process that you feel like has made that shift?
Seeing the growth. Like I think growth is success. I would say now more than achievement is success. So used to be like, I don't care how much I grow as long as I get to this like checkpoint or this goal.
As long as
and
this
I can
outcome
check
happens.
it. And now it's like, whoa, like, but who am I becoming in the process? Like, how am I developing? Am I growing these skills? Am I helping people? Are they growing? And now growth for me is a big part of like what I value, and it's a big part of success. I think for a client, if they're seeing growth, for myself, if I'm seeing growth, then I'm feeling successful for the most part.
Based on that, through your experience, like what do you think is one of the things that gets in the way of other people becoming successful? Like we've talked about, you know, doubt, we've talked about vulnerability. Like what is it from your experience, what you've seen? And it can apply to fitness too, like just kind of like from your perspective, overall, what have you kind of seen in that?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is belief. Like, do you believe in the plan that is helping? Like, do you have a plan that's helping you get to where you want to be? Like, and do you believe in that plan? And are you committed to it? And then do you believe you're worthy of the success? Like, and that you deserve that success. Yeah. And so yeah, I think those are some, like, belief is a big barrier, or self-confidence, similar things. But yeah.
And then how would you say, at least for you, how do you get through that? Like, how do you like overcome that? How have you done that in your own? Like, how have you built? We've talked about, like, you've definitely built this business and you've had those moments of doubt and you've worked through it, but is there anything that you do kind of very specifically, or things that you've constantly remind yourself of outside of, you know, like that one more rep that kind of gets you out of that mindset to believe in that one more rep per se?
Yeah. For me, I'll do, so like a really practical tool will be commit to like a 30-day challenge, or not even that long, like a week or 10 days of, okay, I'm going to commit to these habits for this allotted amount of time. And because sometimes I'll fall off track and I'm like, okay, I don't know what I'm doing. I feel overwhelmed with lack of belief. And I'm like, okay, if I can like re-empower myself and know, like, okay, if I say I'm going to do this, I will do it. I can do it. Yeah. And and it could be something super small, like wake up at the same time every day for 10 days. Wake up and go for a 20-minute walk for 10 days. Or wake up and journal, you know, for 20 minutes or whatever it is. And if I can commit to that, then I kind of re-empower myself and re-energize myself to, like, okay, like the little things lead to the big things. And so I just kind of zoom in on something small, and that's a really practical way where I'll kind of like re-empower that self-belief. Gotcha. Because if I can follow through on the things that I say to myself, then I can follow through on saying, I'm going to do this someday. Yeah, that's so you're just kind of building the muscle small, and then it'll carry over to bigger things. So that's one way that I've kind of, it's cool. A practical tool that kind of helps me. Yeah.
No, that's great. Yeah. I think I saw something the other day that kind of reflected on, you know, keeping like the small commitments to yourself. Yeah. That help to build up to be able to keep the bigger commitments. Yeah. So yeah, it kind of plays off of that, and I think it's just starting small. And I think it was probably you actually who might have told me the other day, like, just, you know, you just got to start small and like go from there, that sort of thing. So clearly you are involved with you know, empowering a lot of people, from athletes that see you, your own clientele and everything like that. What is one thing that you feel like your community and the people you heavily are involved with would say about you that either kind of surprises you or would surprise you, or something that other people wouldn't quite know?
I guess I like to write.
Are you a big writer?
I wouldn't say big, but yeah, I'll journal every day. If I don't, then I'm not in great like health, I would say. Yeah. It like helps me just get my thoughts out and regulate and be like healthy. Yeah. And then sometimes that'll turn into more like actually trying to say something through writing. Okay. And so I'll have like an idea and I'll take notes on it and then develop it further. So yeah, I wrote a book of poetry and published that. So yeah, not everyone would know that about me, I guess.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What was that process like for you? How did it feel? What were your thoughts?
That one was, there was a lot of different feelings in the process.
Yeah.
So like getting the initial like thoughts and poems down was a big part of like healing in a journey for me. And then like actually publishing it was like a long process because it was just like, there were a lot of hurdles. Maybe I made them up mentally, or I was kind of scared to publish it. And so, so like editing it and then just not touching it for like a year and then coming back to it. And then actually doing it was empowering. Yeah, I would say. Yeah.
What is it kind of about like what you do now, where you are staying in Grand Junction, being a member of that community that really speaks to you? Like, what is it about here that like fills your soul? Like, why isn't like, let me go to a bigger place, do something with fitness there? Or, like, what is it about here that kind of like keeps you here so far?
I love Grand Junction. This will be home base for me probably forever. And I think for me, it's like the easy access to nature. Like you can drive 10 minutes and be hitting some trails in the monument that are, and you might not even run into a single person. So you can easy access to nature, or the mountains an hour, Moab an hour. So
do you find that being that close to nature, like this place is kind of inspirational for you, or like encouraging and kind of just like?
Yeah, I think I love like when it's a sunny day and everyone's like outside trying to like hit the like bike trails or whatever. So it's like a really active community. And so I just appreciate, I think the environment reflects kind of who you are sometimes, or you become a part of that environment. And so, I think a lot of people in Grand Junction enjoy the outdoors and enjoy like just being active and being outside.
Gotcha.
So, and that's something that I value and appreciate. That I love that it's sunny almost year round here. Like, that's a big bonus for me and feeling good. And I like how small it is. I like how I can go somewhere and see someone that I know, but also meet someone new at the same time.
True.
Like, I like that too.
That's great. What is it that you think people, or to the community at large, like what is one thing or a few things you'd like them to kind of know about you, your business, kind of like fitness in general, or things that potentially are misconstrued when it comes to like fitness? I think make it simple. Like, people like to complicate things for Fair.
I heard one thing, like something once that said, like, people complicate things for profit. Like, we'll make it so complicated, and you have to pay so much money for it, and then add this other layer and pay more money. And it's like, you can go out and walk and it's free. And that is great exercise. That is helping you be healthy. You can do, if you can move your body weight well, like, you're pretty healthy. So if you can do push-ups, if you can do sit-ups, if you can do body weight squats, like balance on one leg, then you're pretty healthy. So it doesn't need to be super complicated. Like, keep it simple. And it doesn't have to be kind of, I think people often have like, I need to go to the gym 4 times a week in order to be like healthy and fit, and this kind of perception of what it means to like train and be healthy. And it's like 2 times a week is enough for like 30 minutes lifting something heavy, and then walking, and then choosing nutrient dense foods. So I think the biggest misconception people have is like, or a barrier that's there for people is like that it takes so much time and energy and effort, and it's all or nothing. And it's like, some seasons of life, like, you might train 4 times a week, and some seasons it might be so busy that you train 1 time a week, and that's enough for right now. So I think that's what I would encourage people, like, whatever season you're in, just do something. It's better than nothing. So
what would your one piece of advice would be, like, based on kind of all of that? Like, if you know, you don't work out, but you're like, I want to work out, but then you're like, do I do all these different things? Like, what would be kind of that one thing that like, hey, this is the sole thing that you probably have to start with?
Start with walking.
Yeah.
Like
some form of movement.
Yeah. Try to increase your, like on your health app, if you have any sort of smartphone, it's like going to be tracking how many steps you take.
Yeah.
So see if like over the next week or two, like you can increase that average to like by 1,000 steps. Okay. So maybe Monday you don't hit it, like what you're trying to accomplish, because you were so busy on Monday, so you really couldn't. But Tuesday you're able to do a little extra. And so on average, if you can create 1,000 steps more than you did last week, next week, then you're on the right track. Like you're on the upward, like incorporating more fitness in your life. Gotcha. So start with that. Yeah.
Just start somewhere. I think.
Yeah.
Do you find that for a lot of people, it's really kind of just the starting that's kind of the hardest part?
Yeah, I think, or some people will start, but they're like super motivated. They're like, okay, I'm gonna start. Yeah. And they get like 3 weeks in, and they're like, okay, I'm exhausted, and now I didn't hit the workout perfectly how I had planned, and so now it's like, well, I'm just gonna stop doing it. Like, so they get discouraged when they can't. So it's like the all or nothing is holding people back. Like, I think, I have to do. Like it has to be the perfect scenario in order for me to exercise, which is a big barrier to starting. And then people do start, they get that perfect scenario, they hit it for like 3 weeks, but then they can't maintain it. And so then they fall off. Yeah. So I would say like pick your minimums. Like, okay, when I'm in the busiest season of my life, what can I minimally do to exercise? Okay. And start there. Yeah. Start when you're busy. Like start when it's hard with your minimums, and then you can maintain that because it's something that's realistic for you. Oh. Right? Yeah. Like,
I guess I've never really thought of it that way.
And then when you're not busy, then you can just go upward. Yeah. But then when the busy season gets, then you're still hitting your minimums. So I've for myself, like created some, okay, no matter how hard life is, like minimally, I'm gonna do this. And I have like a couple things that I do. And then it helps me to just like be like, okay, let go of perfectionism essentially, because I'm a bit of a perfectionist and not do the all or nothing. Yeah. In principle. Yeah. Huh.
Yeah. That actually makes so much sense. I never thought about it, because I feel like most people, you're like, okay, like, you know, you're like, okay, if I work out, it has to be for an hour. I don't have this hour. And then you're like, okay, well, I have to find this hour. And then if the 1 hour you found, you're like, okay, I got it done. But then you don't have the next couple hours to do it.
Compromising on everything
like,
else.
Wait, this isn't working. But I guess I just never thought about like, because I guess we're also told too, like, the you have to do more than the bare minimum. Like, the bare minimum isn't as, it's not going to get you where you want to go. It's not going to be rewarding. But I mean, if you take it from that perspective, then at least it becomes something that's consistent.
Yeah. Which is most important, like when it comes to fitness and health. Yeah. And
I think everything overall, like you have to be consistent in something.
Yeah.
To get good at it. So let's let's fast forward like 5 years. For you, what does that mean? What does that feel like? What does that look like in regards to just success and like kind of just like your business, kind of just where you are personally? Like, what does that look like for you?
Yeah. For me, I'm healthy, I'm fit, I'm feeling good. I'm living in community, so I'm sharing meals with people, like, engaging with like clients. I'm just living in, like with friends and family and living in community.
Could you say community is a big part for you?
Yeah, I think it's really important for like, it's an underrated aspect of health is like social wellness. And so I think it's easy to get isolated on a screen or in your job. And so, or it's easy for me to do anyway. So it's like something I want to be intentional about is like having fulfilling relationships in my life is really important to me. Being like healthy and experiencing life to the fullest. So I'm living in community in 5 years. Well, now and in 5 years. And then I'm also like eating locally sourced foods mostly. Like it would be awesome if like 80% of my diet was local foods. So that's kind of a goal that I have that I'm trying to work toward. And I do that pretty well, but like I'd like to start growing some of my own food and doing things like that. And then in 5 years for Alchemy, my business, we serve like 100 clients per month essentially. So and that's and retain them or help jumpstart them, whatever is best for them essentially. Right. But yeah, if I have that, then I don't need, then like a lot of my needs are met, and I feel like I'm having an impact. Yeah. And I have the freedom to travel and do other things that I want to do while also being financially secure and so those are the goals for the next kind of what it looks like in 5 years.
Those are pretty good ones. What would you say would you want to be the thing or two that people say about you outside of kind of work, kind of like who you are as a person? You can touch on what your business is as well, but like what is kind of that overall, almost I guess legacy question would you want people to have?
I would like people to say like that they like the version of themselves that they are when they're around me. Like, ooh, okay. I think that would be the best like kind of compliment that I could ever get is like, oh wow, when I hang out with Carson, like I feel like that's a version of myself that I like and I enjoy and like I feel good about. Okay. So yeah, that would be that's the main thing.
I think that's good. I mean, I think all of us could spend more time around the people that are a bit more authentic, I guess, and like bring that out of us. So these last few questions are just going to be kind of like, some might be fun, some might be insightful, whatever. What's one thing that might be random or surprising about you that people don't know? And you can't say writing because we touched on that already. Or it can be like, what
okay, kind of fun. I'm not much of a dog person. Yeah. I just grew up like on a ranch, and so dogs served like, they were like part of work. They served a different purpose, so it's hard for me to relate to people that have like their dogs like inside and they're like their best friends. And
so you don't, because our dogs are always outside. A puppy come across.
Like, I mean, I love a puppy. Like, they're so cute, but like, I'm not like, oh my gosh, can I pet your dog? Yeah, it's just like. And most people, like one of my good friends, she loved dogs, and she's like, it's just so surprising to me you're not a dog person. Like, you should be a dog person. I'm like, I'm just not.
That's fair.
Like, I don't hate them, but I'm not like.
That is surprising to me too.
Okay.
There we go. If you weren't doing fitness, what would you be doing? Would you be that history teacher, or would it be something completely different?
I think I would do some form of coaching, no matter
what it was.
Yeah, but if I went a completely different avenue as like a day job type, it would be awesome to be like an architect and like build and design spaces, houses. Yeah, that'd be fun for me. Something that maybe, next chapter of life, like that would be fun to pursue. Like, I'd love to like build and design my own home someday. That's on the bucket list. So someday, hopefully that happens. But yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So when you're not obsessed with like fitness, teaching, that sort of thing, we mentioned a little bit being outdoorsy. Like, what do you do for fun? Like, what are your hobbies?
Yeah. I love hiking. I like traveling, especially with like good friends. I like reading a lot. Yeah.
Okay. What's the most recent book that you read?
Right now, I'm reading Mary Oliver. She's like my favorite poet, and I'm reading like a series of essays that she wrote. Okay. She's a genius. So, yeah, I like the way she writes, and yeah, the essays are lighthearted but heavy at the same time, and that's what I'm reading right now.
Okay, fair enough. And this is the last question I ask pretty much everybody is, if you were the main character, right, in your own movie, TV show, what is one thing that you feel like the audience that's watching would be like shouting at you to do or not do? Because you know how we always have that character that we're shouting at, and you're like, you need to do this or not. What would that be?
It might just be like, commit.
Commit?
Just commit.
Yeah.
Because I would just feel like kind of this fear of like committing to one thing. Like I just love so many things.
Yeah.
Just probably just be like, just commit.
Commit to that one thing.
Like you're capable, you're competent, you're good at this, just commit and do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. So if people, they want to follow you, they want to, watch your content, get coaching from you, can you just give us a little spiel of like where they can find you? How do they go about that?
Yeah. Best way is Alchemy with Carson is the name of my Instagram handle, and that's the best place to like reach out. And then you'll see links in my bio. You can get to my website. But yeah, it's called Alchemy with Carson on Instagram, and then shoot me a DM on there for personal workouts. Pretty easy. Yeah.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Is there anything kind of any last alibis, anything you want to say to anybody, any encouragement, anything like that you kind of just want to leave anybody with today?
Just do it. Yeah.
Perfect.
No,
awesome.
And thank you.
Yeah, no, I
so
appreciate
happy to be here.
Yeah, it's been great.
This is awesome.
Thank you so much, Carson, for joining me today. For everybody who's watching, this is our episode for GrandValli Experience. Make sure you subscribe and follow us for more. Thank you.